Hello, episode 279 of the club. Right, message today is about complaints and how to prevent complaints. And the reason this has come about is because we've had a CQC inspection this week and they've asked for our complaints and we haven't got any complaints. And they've said, what about verbal complaints? And we haven't got any verbal complaints. And I'm trying desperately to think of something that's happened that we can kind of give them, because it, in a way, they really want you to kind of have had a complaint that you've dealt with. And the best I could come up with is someone who had an issue when they were at the hospital, and there's a few things that they weren't happy about, and we sort of jumped on it. We as soon as the nurse who always phones them a couple of days post-op, got a hint of this, then Nicola, the clinic manager, emailed them and asked them to put everything in writing. We've addressed it, and there never really was a complaint, to be fair. That she never really complained about anything. It was just like something that she was a bit niggled about. And I think the message that I want to give out is that it's really important to look for complaints, hunt for complaints, for potential complaints, and kill them while they're young. Kill them while they're small, before they grow and get stronger and then can really fight back at you. If you look for them, if you find them when they're little babies, then you can batter them and kill them, and don't let them just stay hidden in the grass until they sort of grow stronger and stronger. Some will wither and die, but some will grow stronger and stronger. And I think there's a tendency when we get complaints to kind of ignore it, to kind of sort of hope that it's going to go away, and like distance ourselves from people who are not happy with things. And these are the little complaints that are hiding in the grass. And as I say, some will go away, but some will grow. And the problem that I find that you often get with complaints is it's often lots of little things. They add up, they multiply, and they get to a tipping point where all of a sudden it's a big deal, and everything's terrible, and it's irreversible, and there's a chasm, and there's a split, and you can't come back from it. And so what you need to do is ask for feedback at every stage. Keep asking for feedback, and if you get any hint of dissatisfaction, it doesn't have to be a complaint, any hint of dissatisfaction, waiting time was long, parking was no good, had to pay for this, food was not very nice, binder wasn't put on very well, toilet wasn't clean, whatever it is, any hint of any sort of dissatisfaction, you've got to jump on it and you've got to kill it. You've got to say, look, what toilet wasn't clean? Really? What? You were sick of the toilet, they didn't clean it? Can you just tell me a bit more about it? Ring them up, get someone else, get a clinic manager to ring them up, put it in writing, let us know, or speak to the hospital, do all these, feedback to the hospitals, get some feedback, and show that you are doing things either to make the problem right, if there is a problem, or to prevent the problem from happening again in the future. And it's really important to do this at a really early stage. And as I say, it's often not even a complaint, it's just a feedback that might have a bit of a negative slant to it. And I think that's really vital to avoid getting a formal complaint or it from escalating. Because when you look at people who are unhappy and think they've been really badly treated, when you actually look at the treatment they've had, it's often not that bad, but it's kind of lots of little things that add up. And you might find it yourself. I find it myself. A couple of things go badly, you kind of let it go, but then another thing goes badly with that same business or company, and then that's it. It multiplies. It doesn't add. It multiplies up. So it's really important to try and kill them when they're small, and it's a lot easier when they're small because you can stay on side with the patient. I think that's a really important message to give to the people who are working with you, who are sort of maybe talking to patients who are complaining or explaining dissatisfaction with something. Keep on side with them. It's often helpful if they're not directly related to the dissatisfaction. So if they're unhappy with something you've done, if it's the nurse sort of thing, so you can keep on side and say, did he do that? All right, let's have a look. Oh God, crikey, let's have a look. And listen. You don't have to sort of agree. You don't have to say, oh God, that's been done badly. So there's a difference between sort of admitting kind of liability or what have you, which I think a lot of people are kind of so worried about they get defensive, and listening, actively listening, probing, getting further. Really, what? Let's have a look. Can I see a photo of it? Let's have. You had a bruise, red mark. Can you send us a photo of that? Can you send another photo tomorrow? Can we keep an eye on that? Can I phone you next week to have a look at that red mark or that bruise? How's that bruise? Every time you kind of speak to them, and it's about actively engaging, because often the natural tendency is to run. The natural tendency is to hide. The natural tendency is to ignore it. And often that will kind of work, but there'll always be that little niggle. And and I think that's how you can mitigate. I mean, you're never going to be able to sort of stop every complaint, but you can mitigate things and really nip them in the bud. And it is a little bit counterintuitive, but I think it's a really important skill, or a really important part to having your business. Not only that, it also can help with your business if there are little niggles that you don't know about that you can potentially relatively easy fix. If there's problems with the parking or something like that, maybe when someone books, you can send an email saying, look, this is where you park, or this is, if you parked here for more than an hour, let us know and we can move, you move your car, or these little things. If little things happen, there might actually be things that you can tweak and actually build on your business and make your business better. So it's an absolute win-win. It's a counterintuitive thing. I completely understand the wish to ignore these little moans and gripes, and some you think, oh god, they're a moaner, and oh god, there's another thing that's wrong. She didn't like the food was cold, it was cold. Oh my god, he was complaining about the bathroom not being clean. And there's a tendency to feel that way, but I think if you're running a business and if someone's kind of in a way good enough to feed that back to you, I know it's painful at the time. You want everyone to say everything's brilliant, I love you, and there's nothing you can improve upon. Let's be honest with ourselves, there probably is stuff we can improve upon, and we need these people they're like testing the system. They're equivalent of mystery shopping. They're doing it for us. And so when they feedback, it is important. It's not just a show. It is important for you to listen and to know what's going on. So it's really important to hunt down the complaints and kill them while they're young. Yeah, kill them while they're young. Don't let them grow. Don't let them get massive. Because once they grow big, then they can start hurting you. When they're young, they can't really hurt you that much. So it's much easier to kill them when they're little baby complaints in the grass. Very easy to batter them. But once they start getting bigger and bigger, then they can start to hurt you, and then they get other people involved and they start complaining. We had to do this CQC, we had to do our complaints policy. What do you do with level 1, level 2? How do you escalate? We've never had any of these problems. We still have to have the complaints policy and get these things in place, but we've never had these problems because we try and get them while they're young, before they're even complaints, when they're just sort of feedback, a bit of feedback. Aggressively handle feedback, aggressively grapple them and kill them. Yes, what do you mean the toilet was dirty? What do you mean they didn't clean the toilet? Hell's teeth, let's get that sorted. I've spoken to them and the cleaning schedule has been amended, or the cleaner wasn't there that day, and I'm going to make sure that when we operate there's always going to be a cleaner on site, and whatever, just really aggressively handle small things, and that will stop them from growing and getting stronger so that they can't hurt you. Hunt them down, kill them when they're weak. See you next week.